Hey, this is Otto from Sleepmakeswaves, and you are tuned into Behind the Scene.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, just about all recuperated and rested up after a pretty hectic and intense time in Europe. So we've just had enough time to start feeling normal again, and the touring machine's just about to heat back up. We're playing a show tonight in Parramatta for a festival called The Plot, which I'm looking forward to.
I'm like, that's pretty awesome. You've come straight back over from overseas and you've already playing almost a home show.
Yeah, it's been a pretty non-stop year, so this is kind of par for the course for us.
It's been huge, yeah. Especially this tour with Rosetta coming up. Like, how'd that come apart?
Well, we started thinking about how to pull a tour together that would be special and stand on its own after sort of spending a lot of time touring around Australia. You know, people have seen us in really big rooms and supporting like Devon Townsend and Under Oath, and we did our own headline tour earlier this year and tried to make that as sort of massive as we could in the spirit of stepping shows up every year, which is what our focus has been. With this one, we wanted to try and change tack a little bit, and rather than kind of continuing that trajectory, we thought we'd actually do the opposite and scale it back and bring it back to sort of where this band kind of started, which was in these hot rock clubs, playing really intense live shows, really up close and personal with the crowd, so that there's this sense of participation rather than spectatorship, and it's much more in your face and much more intimate. And when we were looking at these rooms that we wanted to kind of scale this back to, Rosetta got in touch looking to tour around Australia at that time, and it was just a perfect match because their live show is so well suited to these more intimate and visceral spaces. And so we just were stoked that we could pull a tour together that we felt really spoke to the best of both Sleepmakeswaves and Rosetta, and will provide quite a special night for the folks that come to see the bands.
Yeah, love going to shows and kind of having that, the same vibe, the same feeling with the bands and everyone around you, just having an awesome time. I reckon you're going to capture that so well on this tour.
Yeah, we're excited, man. This is where we honed our live show, was rooms like this. We've been a band for over 10 years now, and we've learned a lot on the road. So kind of taking those lessons and being the band that we've become and then moving it back to those spaces, I'm kind of excited to see what happens and where that leaves us.
That sounds wicked. Like, what's kind of the biggest changes that have happened in those 10 years as a band?
Well, I think we've gotten better as musicians. We've gotten a bit more experience, obviously, with the touring process and with being on the road. Touring Australia 5 shows in 5 days is one of the more intense schedules because all the cities are very far apart. So each involved packing down very late at night and then getting up very early to fly to the next show. And so it's tough, man. These 5 and 5 runs in Australia really push you, as I'm sure any band that's done it will tell you. So, you know, we're better prepared for this. We know how it's going to be. And I think that as a band, you know, there's a million tiny lessons that you learn in terms of performing, even if it's just staying out of your bass player's way because he's going to clonk you in the head with his head stock. Like a kind of natural sense of choreography and movement, and also in the setlist construction, delivering a set that draws people in, and then you know, creates a sense of inclusivity and a wonderful experience for the people that are there. All those little things, I think, contribute to us, to what we've learned over the past 10 years, and we're hopefully going to bring all of that stuff to bear on this tour coming up.
Your Triple J like a version, how did that come to be, and what was it like inside the Triple J studio?
Oh man, it was a really wonderful experience to get to play a really beautiful song. You know, we wanted to do this Robert Miles cover because it was a melody that just kind of stuck with us, and I think everyone has a sort of memory with it. It's this beautiful, melancholic, and kind of almost universal melody that this dude came up with. When we were thinking about what to cover, this song came to us because it is, you know, already an instrumental song in a way. It doesn't have a vocal line that we'd have to rearrange or strip back because we were worried about losing something in the translation of the vocal melody to our instruments. And so this was cool because this melody was so powerful and it connected with so many people already. So we were able to kind of apply our toolkit as songwriters to this song and really make it our own in terms of the dynamic shifts and the starkness from loud to quiet. And it was a really wonderful and natural kind of translation. So getting to play that song and having it connect with as many people as it has been really wonderful for us, and we're very grateful for the opportunity.
Do you have any other change-ups planned for any other songs, or is it just going to be like a one-off thing?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have any planned at the moment in terms of covering other tracks. There's obviously a million bands that we're influenced by and that we love, but I think for us to really sit down and, because we're quite perfectionistic, to sit down and really work out how to cover a song, it would have to be for a reason, and it'd have to be for something. So maybe if there's some kind of benefit or charity thing in the future, we might look at doing something like that again. But for now, we were just stoked to have that song and have the opportunity and have it connect with as many people as it has been really cool.
That's cool. Well, I was going to ask you, what is the album or the band that did influence you to start playing guitar?
Well, for me, it was like I was just a little filthy grunge kid back when I was growing up. I was just a little black hoodie riff rap, and so I just loved like Nirvana and Metallica and System of a Down and Slipknot. Like, I was really into heavy metal, and that kind of 80s thrash stuff, especially the Slayers and Metallicas, really got me into guitar playing. Whether it was like kind of the chunky rhythms and getting that right hand coordination as strong as possible, all the way through to kind of more of the guitar duets and the lead stuff, which creeps into Sleep Makes Waves. You know, like there's this bit in Great Northern where the two guitars kind of go off together and do this little harmony thing, and that's like our Master of Puppets worship kind of creeping through there a little bit. All that stuff was part of my education, and I'm sure the other guys have their own very unique meandering ways through the musical world. I know that Alex would probably answer something along the lines of At the Drive-In and Refused, and Smashing Pumpkins got him into the world. So
there are a fair few different influences that do like build their stems to make Sleep Makes Waves.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't see Sleep Makes Waves as, you know, the sum total of all that stuff. We try to see it as more than the sum of its parts. Like for me, the point of this project is to kind of find the edges of what, you know, rock and roll can look like and what kind of post-hardcore music can look like, and just push out into those edges, whether it's injecting that kind of progginess or injecting that electronicness, trying to take it to a new place, trying to take rock and roll to a new place and push it into a space that we feel is both emotional and exciting. And I think that's why it's a cool project, and why I'm always excited about the next thing with this band, because we don't know what it looks like yet, and by definition we probably shouldn't.
That's beautiful. That's such an awesome description. What do you have planned next? Is it too early to say anything about 2018, 2019?
Well, we're definitely going to take the foot off the pedal in terms of touring a little bit. Like we've done, I won't use profanity if this is being recorded, but we've done a lot of shows this year. We'll probably step back from that a little bit and have a think about what we want to do next. The live shows, I'm really interested in exploring how we can sort of step to the side a little bit and create a live experience that's a little different for us so far. I'm thinking about what visuals and kind of projections we could bring into this, music to complement it. So yeah. I'm interested in exploring some collaborations next year potentially. So it's not just like another tour, but that it's like this special show and we're collaborating with XYZ. And in terms of like music writing, I mean, we're kind of starting to talk already about like maybe a little summer camp for Sleep Makes Waves, where some of the members kind of just run off into the forest and spend a couple of weeks out there just riffing away and seeing what that would do to our songwriting.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
was written primarily in studios and in computers. So we're really keen to kind of get the members out and hanging out and like throwing ideas up and having that process a little bit more flexible and up in the air and seeing what that'll do.
If you do go down that path, I'd be happy to film it all for you, and we can make it a Bear Grylls-esque parody as well, I reckon.
Cool. While we're there, we should get lost in the woods and build little traps for squirrels and stuff like that. So that would be perfect.
Well, I mean, if you trapped a squirrel, I'd be amazed.
The trick is you've got to find the natural pathways that the animals walk down. Animals have bush tracks, you know, and so you just got to set up the traps in the way of the animals. But look, we can do this for another time.
Yeah, look, I'm sure we can fit that in. I just got a couple more questions for you. I mean, the Aria nomination, how awesome is that? What does it mean for you? And just fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, like we try to be cool-headed about this stuff and be like, well, you know, yeah, this isn't why we really do this stuff and whatever. But like, you know, it's fucking cool. And like, I'm not going to lie, when I found out I was in like Europe or I was in Manchester or something, and I was fucking stoked. We drank a couple of shots of vodka to celebrate. It was a really nice night. And because, you know, it's voted on by a really large group of the Australian music industry. And so to have the album connect with people and have it given that kind of respect is really heartwarming. And, you know, we'll go along and we'll feel totally out of place in amongst the cool industry peeps, and we'll drink beer to hide our social anxieties. But like, you know, we're stoked to be a part of that, even just for the night, and get a taste of this glitzy world that we're not really part of, but that we'll happily join in and pretend for one night, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I went to the Arias in 2012.
We were at that one.
Yeah, I think I was like 15, I think, at the time, and that was the only time I've been to an Arias, and it was just the most incredible, like, just so many awesome musicians, so many talented people. The vibe was awesome. I mean, just best of luck with the nomination and just having a good night.
Thanks, man. I mean, we don't have a chance, but it's the day after my birthday, so we'll go and celebrate that.
Don't be too hungover then.
Good point.
What would your favourite band merch tee, or just any band merch be from an Australian band?
Oh, gee, that caught me by surprise. Let me have a think. I really loved that Violent Soho Care Bear one. That was pretty dope.
I love Violent Soho shirts.
And I really like this Camp Cope one that has the FBI. What's her name? Is it Mulder or Scully on the front?
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to definitely Google that one.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
And do you have any bands that are like local bands that you think are killing it in the scene right now? Like any? Yeah,
I mean, going back to Camp Cope, they're getting pretty big already, so it kind of goes without saying. In addition to them, our friends Mowgli from Wollongong/Sydney are a really wonderful and underrated band that I'm really looking forward to seeing more from. There's this artist out of Perth, Georgia Reed, who I think is bringing together some really wonderful elements in a cool way, in this sort of dark gothic pop way, which I'm really vibing on.
Talking about the whole band dynamic, what is the most fun part of being with the incredible musicians that you're with?
The most fun part is that we all razz each other relentlessly, but there's a lot of love. You know, it really just does start to feel like a family at this point. And we fight, but we make up, and we all have a similar sense of humor, which is like quite nihilistic and meme focused. And I think that we've ended up being able to work out how to get on in almost any situation. You know, it's like a magic trick. Watch four boys get on all over the world, even in trying situations. And so at this point, it's a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. And I actually, believe it or not, I actually start to miss them if I don't see them in a couple of weeks, which is terrible and weird, but it's true. Don't tell them I said that.
So who would the mother out of the band be then?
The mother is probably me. The father's probably Alex. I'd say it's probably a reasonable.
Pretty cute love triangle or love interest.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Actually, maybe Tim's dad and Alex is the mum, and I'm like the cranky grandmother. I don't know.
Self-proclaimed cranky grandmother. All right, take it easy, dude. Thank you so much.
Right. No worries. Cheers, mate. Bye bye.